in expectation of ascension. September 5, 2014. Do not fall back into old habits, now, as you begin to understand the now. I am Babaji. Make every instance of your day a service for God. Divine service consists in fulfilling every thought, every word and every deed, may it seem so little, unimportant and insignificant, in the conscious presence of God. The presence of God and the now are inseparably connected with each other, and therefore I remind you now of this fact. To understand the now means, in every instance to be aware of God's presence. Do not abate in your aim for perfection. Change your thinking, change your speech, and change your deeds, as long as you are wholly filled by God and until your lower human nature has been put down and completely transformed by God and God's light. God realization and the realization of now are two lovers, which cannot be separated by anything or anybody. High plateau in the ascension process. Now we attain the next high plateau in the ascension process. And this means that a new lightness appears. Lightness for those who have understood, lightness for those who know, lightness for those who have entered from waiting into daily activities, and who energetically, courageously, and unconditionally celebrate every day, such as it would be the first and the last day in this world. This inner lightness, which faces the heaviness in this world with equanimity, and instead of bearing the conditions on this level, transforms it, a capacity, which more and more masters internalize and carry out, such as it is appropriate for Creator gods. Orientation far from concepts. Cut all dependencies on this world. Dependencies in thinking, in feeling, in sensation, and in spiritual experience. Erase all concepts, which until now offered you orientation, and turn your life over to the one great Creator, God. A life in God without concepts is the ground, whereupon God realization matures and occurs. Therefore also forget the concepts about the occurring ascension. So far these offered you hold, security, certainty, and hope. Carried you on, as you got tired, uplifted you, as you didn't know how to go on. Today this is no longer necessary. The ascension dynamic itself changes in every instance. What remains unchanged is the fact that this dynamic hurries irresistibly toward the great final event, at an incredible speed and strength of purpose. Yet what remains unnoticed by most human beings, whose mother, whose father, whose origin I am. Yet you, who have walked to here, you, who have nearly completed the 108 steps into heaven, you are blessed by awareness, strengthened by knowledge and illumined by the light. The now becomes second nature to you, now, as time fulfills itself and as this fulfillment captures space-time. Never think from today until tomorrow. Who thinks likewise, creates a cage for oneself and is a prisoner of his own habits in the not yet overcome linear thinking. The instance, the now. Rather think always in the moment and in the instance. What is of value in the now? What step do I have to take now, and what is it now that deserves my undivided attention? In such a manner the days until ascension will pass, like the blink of the eye in time, and such space-time will be overcome, long before it has been left. Dedicate yourself with all strength to the understanding of the now. Leave the level of counting days until ascension, and leave the time, whereby you look through it on the level of time as an illusion. Many years ago Babaji announced to you that the Great Revolution comes. And many thought that this proclamation would not occur, because the waiting in decades makes many despondent and weak and they lose any hope. Today I renew this truth and denounce to you, the Great Revolution is ongoing, and it is time that also those, who thought to wait for nothing, wake up and uplift themselves, because for Babaji decades mean less than an instance. Now leave the imprisonment of time, whereby you recognize yourself as a boundless, universal, overall in all that is manifesting being. Because, the tighter you feel bound to the human reality, the more unbearable life becomes in it. Therefore dissolve this illusion, whereby you accept life as it is, and without hesitation are willing to leave Lord's vineyard, as you are asked to do so by God Himself. The ascension into the light is foremost an entry into your eternal reality as a creator God. And this entry must occur on the still sluggish earth, in order to cast off the mantle of illusion and to receive the light mantle of the Creator. Beyond the veil this knowledge is omnipresent, yet on this side there is a constant struggle for it. Overcoming space-time. Today the ascending ones have a great assignment, to break through and overcome the space-time continuum in their head, in their heart, in their soul and in their whole being, which enlivens this level. Then everything is easy, then the flight into the light has already begun, and then it continues on the day that there is, the last day of time. The day of truth comes closer and closer. Closer and closer come the day when God reveals himself to humanity. The great upheavals have reached millions of 4D levels, and in the certainty, which is inherent in the creative process, these events reach the mother planet of ascension events, which come to this level with all might. Whereby the hallowed light warriors of the first and last hours will experience these events as liberation and great grace, and those who wanted to find peace by ignoring this fact will experience it as a great act of destruction. Shiva's fire. Shiva's fire lowers over this world. This has already been announced to you. And I proclaim to you now, Shiva's fire has reached this world. Your heritage is heaven, your desire is God, your whole dedication belongs to God. To give up now? You have been prepared for this moment for a long time, so that you leave this space-time as hallowed beings. Why have you spent so many lifetimes here? Why have you been schooled and instructed by so many masters? In order so that you give up now, lacking the latest insight? To give up based on ignorance about the now, the simultaneity of all life. No, this is not the pathway that leads to God and into heaven. You have been prepared for these days of the long expectation, which do not want to end and which have already ended a long time ago. You have been prepared for this last epoch of the great human journey through space and time, in order to be the light for confused and lost human souls, whereby at the end they will prevail over darkness, just like you. Now, because the fallacies are still as frequent as the pebble stones along the edge of the path, now, as the manipulations of the human spirit are still widely distributed, as the air, which you inhale, the light warriors, who go astray, now need the healing assistance of the already perfected masters, the help of those who have taken on the assignment to guide as many human beings as possible into heaven. Waiting for redemption. And only these selected light warriors of many times, many worlds, can keep one's nerve and liberate themselves from the narrow limitation, which the waiting for redemption brings with it. Overcoming of boundaries in thinking, feeling, sensation and action is the command of the hour. And now everything familiar falls off like dandruff from the skin of those who are described as the great knowing ones of this time and incorporate the great ones. Babaji is with you, my child. With you. Every day, in each moment of the day and in each instance. Your sleep is the time when I keep watch over you, your waking consciousness is the time when I guide you in all silence and instruct you. I unveil for you an infinite number of mirror images, as you are willing to look at them. In Babaji's mirror image. Your life is a life in Babaji's mirror image. How can it be any different, as all life is a reflection of me, who I am, Babaji. Eternal, immutable, and omnipresent consciousness. And you recognize all in this mirror that you perceive as illusion, and the all that is consciousness in God is the only reality. Babaji knows you and every human being. Babaji loves this world and loves every human being. Even the lost souls, which went astray in this time, find a healing sanctuary in me, on the day which they have chosen themselves. And I expect these children with great longing. Those who get lost, receive empathy. Those who are uplifted, receive the scepter of an empathetic Creator God. When Babaji turns away from a human being, only then in order to enable for this human being the devotion toward the light and love, which I am. Because the more light-starving a life is, the faster the desire for the light will appear. Unbearable are the lukewarm ones, unacceptable the half-ones, inadequate as a human being, who does all of what he does with half intentions, with half force and half interest. I do not know these human beings as long as they do not change their behavior. I do spend neither shadow nor light in this case, because these human beings are unworthy of both. The lukewarm ones hold this world in their grip, the lukewarm ones, who full of jealousy and envy, full of hate and lack of love, make themselves into new gurus without offering the least qualification for it. And qualified is the one, who has attained knowledge out of himself, from whom everything low has fallen off, and who knows that only clarity, simplicity, and truth pave the way for the light and manifest the way for love. Who knows Babaji? Nobody. Who has the courage to learn to know me? Few. Who searches my closeness? Many, because they do not know what I demand and who I really am. I sent out many, yet only the fewest endure and continue to work tirelessly in the field, which I hand over to them as a gift for their realization. Until the fruits are ripe and until there is nothing else to do in this field of grace of the Creator. The long cycle of temporary life ends in this world, and new worlds will be and are created for it. The step over into these worlds is taking place, and do not be misled. The longer this moment of grace seems to stretch in time, the more realistic it will be, as soon as the horizon becomes turbid, whereby a new light rises in the firmament. How far do you want to go? Until the end without end? And the beginning without beginning? Until the now? Then come. The path has been paved for you, the path has been prepared for you, and the path has been sketched out for you, because you are the way, the truth and the life. This is the reality, which takes away the power of the past and the future over your life, because the way and the now are two lovers, who cannot be separated from each other by anything and anybody. I am Babaji. Channeled by Jan J. Kozel. Translated by Franz. www.stankovuniversallaw.com